Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Chris here, and today I'm going to be doing my 30-day review on the Kamoer X1 micro pump from Coral View Products. So it's been about 30 days, actually probably about 45 days since I have purchased the Kamoer X1 micro pump and hooked it up to the 60-gallon tank behind me. And if you've watched my unboxing video of the Kamoer X1, which you can check out here, I did stumble across these at my LFS, picked one up on a whim, ended up picking up the second one just so I could go directly to dosing two-part. So I'm going to do a quick review. I'm going to give you a couple pros, couple cons, and then my final thoughts on the pump itself. So let's get started with the pros. First pro, obviously, is the fact that it's only $60 for the pump, which is relatively cheap. You do get the pump with one head and Bluetooth capability, which is nice. You can hook up to your smartphone or tablet and control all your dosing through that. So for $60, it's definitely a pro. It's a pretty cheap pump for entry level, really easy to get into. Number two, the pumps themselves are relatively small and can fit in a bunch of in really tight spaces if you're limited with space with your aquarium. The form factor overall is pretty tiny. I'd grab one and show you, but they're all hooked up and it's kind of annoying. It'd be kind of hard to do, but the form factor is really small. So if you're limited with space and don't have a whole lot of room to put a larger pump, then the Kamoer X1 might be right up your alley because it's small, compact, and easy to use. And number three would be the ease of use. This pump is super easy to set up, super easy to use. Even if you've never used a dosing pump a day in your life, it's super easy to plug it in, open up your phone, start up your Bluetooth app, connect to the pump, and within minutes you're already setting up your dosing schedule. It's real easy to calibrate. All the instructions are right there in front of you. It literally takes minutes to get it set up and rolling. So definitely one of the big pros is ease of use. So now that we talked about some of the pros of this pump, let's talk about the cons. Number one is going to be you only get one dosing head with this pump. For $60, you only get one head. And so if you need to dose multiple things like calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, and if you're dosing trace elements, the cost of the pump can add up pretty quick, because for each element, everything you dose, you're going to need a separate pump. Second con is going to be the app itself. It's easy to use, but it's not very straightforward at first. When you get into it, and setting up your scheduling is kind of odd, and it takes a minute to get used to. The layout isn't the greatest, so it's not terribly intuitive or super user friendly, I think, but over time Coral View or Kamoer can probably upgrade the app and change it. A smartphone app is not set in stone, so that's nice, but I have to still list it as a con because I think right out of the box, you get into the app and it takes a minute to kind of understand how to navigate the app. Once you figure it out, it's pretty easy, but at first it can be kind of unintuitive and you feel a little lost in it. And for number three, my least favorite thing about this pump is that you can only dose 12 times a day. I thought with the way I was doing it originally, I set up doing a quick plan and it only allows you to do 12 times, and then I thought, well, maybe I can do it manually and have it dose on an hour every hour. But you are limited to a maximum of 12 doses per day, which gives you only a half a day. Depends. So, if you like to spread out your dose and dose your tank every hour, you might want to think about getting a different pump. But if you can live with dosing every 2 hours instead, then it's not really going to be a big deal. I only listed it as a con because it does kind of limit some of the flexibility of the pump. So keep that in mind if you're thinking of picking up this pump. So final thoughts on the Kamoer X1. It's a great entry-level pump. If you've never used a dosing pump and you're looking to just dose something simple like a Kalkwasser or a two-part, it's a nice cheap entry point for somebody to get into at only $60 a pump. And if you need at least two heads, if you're going to dose two-part, that's going to set you back $120 for the two pumps. But if you're looking to get a little more and you want to dose more than just two-part, and you want to start dosing calcium or start dosing magnesium with your two-part and start dosing trace elements, and you got more than two things that you want to, one or two things that you want to dose to your tank, and I would definitely think about picking up something different. But yeah, I mean, for $60, I think that's the one thing that gets me. Even though it's a great entry point and it's really attractive to people at $60, like I can afford a dosing pump for $60. It's not a big deal. $60 is pretty cheap when you start looking at dosing pumps, and especially look at foreheads and stuff like that. So just going online here just to give you an idea of, you know, I mean, you can get a Boa Magus 3-head dosing pump at $289. So that's $100 more than it would cost you to get 3 Kamoer X1s. You know, a 4-head Aquarium X $240. I mean, hell, Boa Magus has a 4-head for $189. So that's 4 heads versus 3 at $180. Now, granted, that one is not going to have Bluetooth connectivity and not going to give you that nice little, well, I've got an app and I can connect to it, and which kind of, you know, for the $60 really draws you into that Kamoer X1. You're like, okay, I can do Bluetooth. But in reality, like, the Bluetooth is cool, but who needs it once you set up your dosing pump? I mean, here's an ATI dosing pump with 6 heads for $199.95. Don't know if it's a great dosing pump or not, but I mean, for $200, that's 6 heads. So now you're dosing, you know, alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, trace elements, all in one unit for $200. And if you really wanted to go cheap, you can even go on to Amazon and get a Jabo pump. I think for $60, those $60-$70 will get you a 4-head dosing pump. And a lot of people use those without any issues, other than I guess the programming can be kind of iffy on it. But once you kind of dial it in, they work great for $70. So think about that, $60 for 1 head or $70 for 4 heads. So my final thoughts on the Kamoer X1 pump is it's a great pump, great entry-level pump, but I think at $60, the only thing that it's got going for it is the fact that it's got a Bluetooth app. I mean, really, that's the only thing that saves it and makes it worth the $60, even if it's worth that. I think I'd rather, now that I bought 2 of them, I've already wasted $120. I could have bought 2 Jabo dosing pumps and had both my tanks automated dosing, but I still manually dosed the one upstairs, and then I automated this one as well. So overall, yeah, I mean, if you want a dosing pump, I'd say save your money, skip the Kamoer X1 and get something else, especially if you plan on dosing more than one thing, which most of us in this hobby are going to dose more than one thing. You know, we're going to dose calcium, at least calcium alkaline, at least 2 parts, so you at least need 2 heads to dose both of those items. So you go on Kamoer X1, you're looking at $120, plain and simple. So save your $120, put it towards something nicer, or spend $70 and go online to Amazon and get a Jabo. So there's my honest and open review of the Kamoer X1 dosing pump. If you like the video, please feel free to click that like button, click the subscribe button if you want to see more, and thank you very much for watching, and until next time, we will see you on the next video.